¿quiénes somos? No es una pregunta que nos responde el espejo. Por un lado, somos todo con lo que nos relacionamos. Somos nuestra familia, somos nuestros amigos, somos consumidores, somos creadores. Somos parte de un complejo engranaje que tiene a nuestro mundo en marcha. También somos lo que pensamos en nosotros mismos, pero lo que de verdad define quiénes somos es el qué queremos ser. Estamos hechos del mismo material que nuestros sueños, y nuestras ideas están hechas del mismo material que nosotros. El mundo en el que vivimos nos invita a plasmar parte de nosotros en él, a dejar una marca, a trascender. Cada cambio que hacemos impacta también a nuestro entorno. ¿Qué queremos ser? Se convierte en quiénes somos cuando hacemos. Queremos ayudarte a ser quien tú eres. Somos la Escuela de Negocios de América Latina con mayor proyección global, con nuestra base firme en México y nuestro espíritu extendiéndose por el mundo. Una comunidad de líderes y mentes sobresalientes que cambian desde su espíritu la realidad de los negocios. Tú eres lo que nosotros somos. EGADE Business School. Minds Igniting Change.
Bienvenidos a EGADE Future Forums. Hoy con un invitado muy especial. Es el autor del libro Redesign the World. Él es Sam Pitroda. Voy a leer un poquito de su background en español para luego ya introducirnos. Sam sabe algo de español. Él está aquí con nosotros. Muy bien. Sam Pitroda es un personaje internacionalmente respetado, pensador, policymaker, inventor y emprendedor que ha invertido más de 55 años en la industria de las telecomunicaciones. Ha sido acreditado como una de las personas que lideró los fundamentos de la revolución india de tecnologías de información y comunicaciones en los 80s durante el gobierno de Rajiv Gandhi. En 1990 creó WorldTel en Londres para ayudar a la privatización de la industria de las telecomunicaciones en países en desarrollo. Inventó en 1974 el diario electrónico. Eso es muy importante. También la billetera móvil en 1996. Y creó una empresa llamada CSAM, que fue adquirida por Mastercard en 2013. Desde 2005 ha sido el director de la National Knowledge Commission y consejero del gobierno indio con rango ministerial. Tiene casi 100 patentes, 20 grados honorarios de doctorado y ha escrito en numerosas publicaciones y ha dado muchísimas conferencias. Estuvo en la Ciudad de México y aquí en Monterrey, asesorando a los gobiernos en el concepto de ciudades de conocimiento en México, en la Ciudad de México, y también aquí en Monterrey a algunas empresas de telecomunicaciones. Para ayudar, su misión hoy es ayudar al crecimiento inclusivo de los países en desarrollo con un uso intensivo de la conectividad inteligente. Welcome, Sam, to EGADE Future Forums.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Carl.
I'm going to start with part of your book. And as I mentioned, you are the author of the book, Redesigning the World, I have here. It's not about liberal or conservative, left or right, capitalism or socialism, democracy, dictatorship, or monarchy. It's about improving the present and securing the future of humanity. A global call to action is needed to initiate new conversations, be a change agent, and mobilize other change agents. It is necessary to implement world's redesign to start a new movement, emerge from the hyper-connected world. I read this at the end of your book, please, Sam, but why do we need to redesign the world? Please, Sam, start this conversation. Why?
Thank you, Carlos. First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity. It is good to be with you. During Corona crisis, like all of us, I was locked up for 18 months from March 2019. When I started thinking about my life, I realized that the world was last designed just about the time I was born. I was born in 1942. That design, led by the US, gave birth to UN, World Bank, IMF, NATO, WTO, WHO. And that design was predominantly focused on democracy, human rights, capitalism, consumption, and military. Then world was bipolar. You had Soviet Union with exactly opposite ideas, and you had United States who took the lead in setting up the design. This design has done pretty well for 70 years. It has sort of maintained peace to some extent, increased longevity, improved infant mortality, lifted millions out of poverty. But at the same time, this design hasn't really solved the real problems of the world: poverty, hunger, violence, and really environmental blunders. We have a big mess when it comes to our climate. And part of that has to do with this design, with focus on overconsumption, focus on military infrastructure. And I think in the process of these 70 years, lots of things happened. World got decolonized. China could rise to a level no one ever thought China could ever do. Soviet Union fell apart. Technology got democratized, became pervasive. In the process, inequality increased. 9/11 changed American mindset. And finally, COVID-19 put entire world to halt. But the hyperconnectivity, to me, is the key to really bring about generational change. For the first time in the human history, we are all connected. What does this connectivity mean to human civilization? That's the question I have been asking. Because this connectivity is very special. It's about content. It's about context. It is about democratizing information, decentralizing implementation by empowering people. And it is also about demonetization of many services. So today we use this hyperconnectivity mainly to improve productivity, efficiency, reduce cost, do things little better, cheaper, faster. But we don't use hyperconnectivity to do things we have never done before in the human history. So my main thesis is hyperconnectivity offers us to really look at two big challenges in front of us. One, planet. And two, people. At the end of the day, only two things matter. Are we really taking care of our planet? And are we really taking care of our people, irrespective of their race, religion, color, caste, background? We are all human beings. How do we provide dignity to people, security to people, minimum basic needs to everybody? How do we use hyperconnectivity to lift human civilization to go to the next level? And that's why I think we need a redesign of the world.
Yes, thank you. So in your book, you talk about 5 pillars that the world needs to be redesigned. Can you explain a little bit about these 5 pillars
Sure.
and how do they be connected in order to be able to redesign the world according to your new vision, to your third, let's just call it the third vision that you have of the world?
Yeah. Today we really have 2 visions of the world. One is the American vision, which is based on the old design, which really focuses on democracy, human rights, capitalism, consumption, and military. Now we have another vision by China. Chinese vision is very different. It is based on the Chinese version of the prosperity. It is about Belt and Road Initiative, where China goes into every country, provides support, loans. But in the back of it is the Chinese version of the world. Both of these visions are based on command and control, where you have superpower, whether it is America or China. I am saying that in a hyper-connected world, command and control structures do not work. We need new structures based on collaboration, cooperation, coordination, communication, co-creation. In this third vision of the world, we need new focus. So my proposal is that first, we recognize that democracy is the key to taking humanity forward. We need to empower every individual to live the way they want to live, to experience the world the way they see it, with certain order, with certain respect for global needs, for planet, for people, and with certain values. So democracy needs to be taken forward. Today, most of the democratic countries are not very democratic. Elections once every 5 years or 4 years do not make country democratic, because a lot of authoritarian people with the authoritarian mindset run democracies. So they control institutions, judiciary, media, they make opinion, and people's voices are not heard. So I want to take democracy further and also want to make sure that the next objective is to make world inclusive. Our world is not inclusive. Everywhere in the world, there are stresses because of exclusion. In America, we have Black Lives Matter. In India, we have caste, Dalits, minorities. In Europe, you have same issues. In China, you have same issues. And to some extent, if you look at Latin America, you have same issues. It is discrimination against indigenous people. Look at what America did. White man came, killed all the local guys. Now we think this is the history. So I think we need to make world more inclusive. Well, tribals, local people have substantial role to play. Inclusion begins with gender equality. So my first new pillar of the next paradigm is to take democracy to inclusion. Second, human rights are not just good enough. Today, we live in an era of surplus. We can produce anything. The point is, what do we want to produce? And who do we want to produce for? Do we want to produce for people who can afford to buy, or for people who need it? So I would like to say that we need to focus more on human needs and not just on human rights. Human rights are great. We need to take it forward. So we do provide human needs to everybody. I was in California last week in San Francisco, and you look at the number of people on the street sleeping there, homeless in San Francisco, is of great concern. One of the richest part of America, Silicon Valley, and you see people on the streets hungry, and you don't understand. You said, why is that? Here is a place for billionaires and millionaires, and we can't take care of 100,000 homeless people. That's because the design doesn't focus on human needs. Third, capitalism, as we understand today, is not good enough. It doesn't mean there is a conflict between socialism and capitalism. What it means is capitalism has really created huge amount of inequality. Very few people have lots of money and lots of people don't have enough. So we need to reinvent capitalism. We need new economy that is bottom up and not top down. We need new idea of scaling. We don't need mega factories, perhaps. We need small factories to network, to create platform for large production. We need to bring in unorganized sector in the mainstream. We need to pay our labor much more. And we need to really think in terms of trusteeship. Corporators cannot just focus on shareholder value. They have to focus on community value. Look at what happened in America. Just to save cost and increase profit, all production went to China. America doesn't produce much in terms of manufacturing. And as a result, local people lost their jobs. Now they don't have jobs to buy anything. So you cannot think of globalization in terms of optimizing profit. You got to think of globalization in terms of what is the impact of this on the community, on environment. So I think this GDP is not good enough. We need gross environmental product, gross human development product. So I'm proposing that we need new economy, new version of capitalism. Fourth, during World War, we focused on consumption because we needed to create markets, boost economy. So we asked everybody to go buy. I think focus on consumption is not the answer. Focus on conservation, sustainability is the real answer. We want durable products and not disposable products that create garbage. Look at the amount of plastic we have in the ocean. Because we produce billions of plastic bottles to drink water. 50 years ago, we didn't have plastic bottle to drink water. And we all drank water very well. But I think this idea of more consumption, disposable consumption, has really impacted our environment in a big way. So we need sustainability as our focus. And finally, I hope that we have evolved to a point we can sort our differences across the table. And we don't need the kind of military infrastructure that we have been building in the past. We spend $2 trillion a year on military. We know we need only $200 billion a year to eliminate hunger. 1/10 of what we spend on military. I was shocked and surprised that during Corona crisis, not a single global leader came forward and said, I will decrease my military budget for next 5 years to improve my health infrastructure. I don't understand. We spend more money on killing people than on saving people. So my proposal is to focus on 5 new parameters: inclusion, human needs,
Minutes,
new economy,
economy,
sustainability and conservation, and non-violence.
well,
It is a tall order, but it can be done.
can be
Somebody
done.
has to dream.
Can be
You
done.
have to dream wild. I have great confidence in our ability to implement our dreams. If we can dream of going to moon and Mars and implement that, why can't we implement this? Why we cannot come to consensus
Right.
on reducing military infrastructure? I just don't get it. Why is everyone building to fight whom? For what?
Right.
It is about time to rethink. Unfortunately, when all the global leaders meet, they only look at their own country. They go there as marketing champion of their country. They talk about trade, military hardware, business, economy, and deals. They don't talk about what is good for the planet, what is good for humanity. I think we need different kind of leaders today.
Yeah.
Some of the leaders are parochial, petty-minded, focused on their personal agenda, their party's agenda to remain in power for as long as they can. But they don't think of planet and people. And that's my concern.
Yeah. And that's, thank you, Sam, because this is aligned to what the COP26 in Glasgow a couple of weeks ago, they say, no, that there is not a mutual consensus.
Because everybody comes there to negotiate.
Right, right. And everybody wants to
look at the larger picture.
Local issues, local regional issues. But I have a question regarding this, no?
Mhm.
Is in your appreciation, this is a global plan, no? It should be a global plan.
Absolutely.
That's what the
because we are all human beings.
Yes, but the problem that they raise is who is going to fund this, because this costs a lot of money to make this change. No, they talk about $135 trillion. So this is to the 2050. So, in your appreciation, who do you think must take the lead in order to finance, to implement, to be the leader of this movement, because it's a global movement? Okay.
Yeah. First of all, those who are in position of power have no need to change. They are milking the system. Why should they change? They like this order.
Yeah.
Where they are flourishing.
Right. They like disorder.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they have no need to change. Those who have need to change, people at the bottom of the economic pyramid, middle of the economic pyramid, have no voice in the system. So you have a contradiction. So one, it has to come from the bottom up. First, we have to really begin new conversation on the design.
In the redesign, not the redesign.
Redesign, we need a new conversation.
It's not an economic, it's not just an economic redesign.
No, it is not. It is not an economic. Money is not an issue, because money will create new jobs, new opportunities, new companies. Okay. It requires new thinking.
New thinking.
First, you have to say, look, I respect every human being on this planet.
But
we are all.
Whom do you think is going to start this? Whom? The United States or China or Russia? Who is going? Or the World Bank?
I don't look at world that way. I look at you and me.
Yeah.
Okay. You and me will make the difference. They have no need to change. Why would World Bank want to change? Why would UN want to change? Okay. They are doing all right. They think they're doing great. Okay. So they have no need to change.
They know.
Even if they change, they will change a little bit here and there. Just cosmetic change. There is no fundamental change they would like to push. So unless and until global leaders of substance comes together, for example, beginning tomorrow, there is a conference called by President Biden on democracy. Okay, there'll be 2 days conference on democracy. Hopefully, I will get some time to tweet today on it. Unfortunately, it will be just a lot of words. Everybody will say all the great things like we did at COP26, but there will not be any substance. Nobody will admit that, yes, I need to build inclusive society.
Right.
Nobody will admit that, yes, I need to provide basic human needs. I need to focus on sustainability, conservation. I need to design new economy. And I need to really decrease military infrastructure.
Okay.
If you want to strengthen democracy, you need to focus on inclusion.
Right.
You cannot strengthen democracy with, discriminating people, excluding everyone. You look at all democracies. Leaders are focused on excluding people.
Right.
All global conflicts in the past, all over the world, had roots in exclusion. When I meet you, I am not interested in your religion, race, caste, language. I'm interested in you as a human being, fellow human being.
That's the key.
And we are just not tuned into that. It is not rocket science. Because you and I breathe the same air. You and I drink the same water. Okay. And world is for us, so that we have to make this world better. I don't understand where is the complexity, but everybody is so selfish. Everybody is so narrow-minded. They want to take all the gains for themselves and not share the gains.
Right.
And that's exclusion.
That's right.
Okay.
So, Sam, this is a complex vision, no? And we need a lot of stakeholders to be able to get good results. So why do you write this book today? I mean, why today and not 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
I don't think 10 years ago we had the hyperconnectivity to dream like this.
Okay.
Today, hyperconnectivity is one issue, and Corona crisis has brought all of us to our knees.
Right.
And we recognize that we are all interconnected, interwoven, interdependent. And what affects you affects me.
Right.
And what affects me affects you ultimately. So these borders and boundaries apparently didn't matter. A small little virus in the middle of nowhere affected every part of the world, every human being. So we must recognize that we are all connected.
Right.
We are all interdependent.
Right. So you think hyperconnectivity is the
key? Is the key.
Yeah. Okay.
To me, Carlos, hyperconnectivity is as important as fire.
Yeah.
We celebrated fire as a great invention. Hyperconnectivity happened so sudden that no one has noticed it.
Okay.
And look at what we can do on video call nowadays. 10 years ago, it was unthinkable. Now the concept of office has changed. Concept of education is going to change. Concept of delivery of health service is going to change. Concept of governance must change. So everything we do today is basically obsolete, because hyperconnectivity offers us an opportunity to do it differently.
Good. And also the COVID, the pandemic brings us another another
lesson we have learned.
lesson to be learned, no? Because
Absolutely.
it's been approved that it's possible to be able to have a common
Absolutely.
purpose
Common agenda, common global agenda.
goal agenda, right?
So that's
So-
why this book is very timely, because it comes at the time of Corona crisis. It comes when hyperconnectivity has been basically accomplished.
Right,
Okay. And we need new thinking.
right.
No design is good for 70 years. Do you realize that in last 70 years, we have not created one new global institution like UN
No,
or World Bank?
that was the last one, no? The last
Yeah, we need to create new institutions.
new institutions.
We
With a
need
new vision, with a third vision, no? A new vision.
all governments are organized as vertical silos. Ministry of Civil Aviation, Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Education. Hyperconnectivity says that everything is interconnected. You need flat organizations to network.
Right,
Vertical silos don't work. So you need to redesign government structures.
right. It's important to redesign government structures.
Yeah, because existing government structures are obsolete. They
Yes.
don't work in a hyperconnected world.
But for that, we need a new leadership.
Absolutely.
Without a new kind of leadership, it's impossible. No?
Absolutely. The old leaders who are really focused on personal agenda, their party agenda, are not equipped to deal with this kind of a change.
So what do you suggest for the leadership, for this new kind of leadership?
We need
Ethics, more ethics.
character. Character is the most important thing.
Right.
You need character with commitment to values.
Consciousness,
First is truth and absolute truth.
right?
Second is trust
Trust,
in people. Third, love for humanity and love for planet.
right,
If you don't love humanity, you will discriminate people.
right,
Okay. Then you need to believe in democracy. You need to believe in human potential. Okay.
reform the institutions, international
Exactly.
institutions,
And you need to believe in service for people.
right,
That I'm here to help people and not push my agenda. I want to give. I don't want to take. The leaders we had in the past, Mandelas of the world, Martin Luther King, I'm just naming some, Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, those were the global leaders who gave. They were serving people.
right.
We need those kinds of leaders with high moral ground.
Yeah, we need this new leadership.
With high moral ground. It's the most important thing. And leadership in a hyper-connected world.
Hyperconnectivity, leadership,
Yeah.
new democracy, new government structures.
Right. These are all the issues.
Yeah.
But we need conversation on all this.
Right.
Nobody's talking. Nobody's ready to debate all these issues.
No. Because we don't have this type of leaders, no? They don't have
Interest. If it was about profit, they'll all pay attention.
right.
I was telling some of my friends, somebody asked me, said, how is the book going? I said, book is going well, but if I was a billionaire, people will pay attention to my book.
Right. You are almost.
No, I'm not. Okay. If I was a great global leader, they'll pay attention to the book.
Yes.
Okay. But I can tell you that these kinds of ideas will not come from them.
Right, that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
These type of ideas will only come from the bottom up.
From the bottom up,
Okay.
from people like us.
Yes. So we all have to speak up and join hands.
So that's why you wrote the book.
Yes, that's why I wrote the book.
Okay.
Even our young business students will have to think differently.
Yeah.
It is
Okay.
their world that has to change, not your and my world.
Right.
See, I tell my friends that my grandparents left for me a world that was poor, that was simple,
Right.
and clean.
Right.
In 1942, world population was below 3 billion when I was born. Okay, world was clean, The world was poor, but was pretty simple.
Right.
I am leaving for my grandchildren world that is very complex, rich, but polluted.
Okay.
How do we change that?
How do we change that? Okay, Sam, I think the time is almost over now.
But I look forward to people from Mexico having a conversation on this. I really appreciate your taking the lead, and maybe you can begin this conversation in Mexico.
Yeah,
We all have same challenges, and we need more people to think about it,
right.
understand it, articulate it. I think this book is being translated in Spanish, and it will be available very soon in Spanish also.
Coming, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that you are involved in a group that I am also part of it. It's called Mexico Huela.
Thank you, Carlos.
I appreciate your enthusiasm to start this group, because you were the leader of this group. And I think with this type of aggregation, with this type of people together, we can
We need that interaction.
at least step by step, no? Step by step.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you a lot, Sam, to share these provocative ideas, and hope that we all can apply most of them to be able to improve the present and secure a better future for all humanity. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you.
I hope that I'm sure that we will be doing things here, at least here in Mexico, together, because we are doing now. You are part of the group.
Look forward.
And I hope that we in the future we can share these ideas with EGADE, the business school, also because we are a very large community of entrepreneurs, of businessmen, of academic people. So I think in the future we must work on these ideas to support this final.
I'm available anytime you give me an opportunity.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you, Sam.
Bye.
Retador.
Inspirador.
Amplía tu visión.
Te abre la mente.
EGADE MBA, una experiencia de vida que te transforma como persona, como profesional y como líder en un entorno global.
Me gusta el balance entre el conocimiento y la experiencia práctica, siempre con foco en la innovación y en la transformación en el mundo de los negocios.
Intégrate a una comunidad de líderes académicos y alumnos de más de 30 países.
Tengo un entendimiento mucho más profundo del mundo de los negocios al poder compartir y aprender de profesores y alumnos.
Conecta con alumnos y profesionales de universidades líderes en el mundo.
Hacer el MBA es una gran oportunidad para ampliar tu networking con gente de todo el mundo que tiene un gran impacto en tu carrera.
Impulsa el crecimiento de tu carrera profesional en la institución más globalizada de América Latina.
Obtuve mi doble grado con EGADE y una universidad en el extranjero. Para mí es muy importante porque esto me abre un mundo de oportunidades.
Acelera tus oportunidades de crecimiento y descubre todo tu potencial como líder. EGADE Business School. Minds Igniting Change.
El mundo de los negocios es de quienes tienen la visión para emprender e innovar. Desarrolla tu potencial y dirige proyectos de innovación para liderar el intraemprendimiento corporativo o para crear empresas de alto impacto. Full-Time MBA in Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
Ha sido una oportunidad invaluable para transformarme como profesionista y entender lo que hoy mueve al mundo de los negocios.
Una experiencia inmersiva y práctica en la generación y aplicación de nuevas ideas de negocio con una visión global.
Es un año muy intensivo y completo. Me gustó que el programa combina conocimiento y experiencia, que compartido con tus compañeros te aporta mucho valor.
Compartir con alumnos y profesores internacionales en un ambiente multicultural me ha permitido tener un conocimiento global sobre los negocios.
Conoce de primera mano el espíritu de la disrupción empresarial a nivel mundial.
Tendrás la oportunidad real de crear un network global con gente de todo el mundo, y esto impactará positivamente tu carrera.
Full-Time MBA in Innovation and Entrepreneurship. EGADE, la escuela de negocios número 1 de América Latina. Minds Igniting Change.